when we got to Australia, to Sydney, we flew down to Melbourne. We were met by my parents. We went to the farm. My father was absolutely silent. He didn't speak to me. He didn't speak to Mac. He didn't approve of this marriage at all. But my mother was very sympathetic. She said she had told my father that it's clearly that they are in love. You can't stand in the way of love. You've got to reconcile yourself to this marriage. And they and some old friends of mine, the Carswells at Melbourne University, he was the secretary of the university union, and his wife worked in the union shop, and they were people who were very interested in Asia, and the Asian students who had flooded into Australian universities under the Colombo Plan scheme. And they would hold dinner parties on Sunday nights, and they invited me to these, and always some of the Asian students. So one of the things that David Carswell was very gifted at was catering, and the union used to make money, and he had brought the union out of bankruptcy by the catering business. So he organised a dinner, a lobster mornay dinner, for me and for Mac and me and my parents, and for anyone I chose to invite. So I invited some of my university friends, and also one or two relatives, and it was a fantastic occasion, really, and very. It broke the ice on my father's disapproval because of all the people who came to that dinner, and how they talked about me, because it was me that they knew. Yes, so then we flew to Jakarta, checked in with the ambassador there, and also the Australian ambassador who invited us to dinner was Keith Shane, and then presented us with a carton of Australian red wine, which we had to then take with our luggage to Medan. But anyway, that was very nice too. It was a warm acceptance by both those ambassadors. Very soon after we arrived in Medan, it was the Queen's birthday celebration, which Mac had always made quite a fuss of and had something memorable to happen. This occasion was a Soleil Lumière, which was conducted at the side of the residence, and it was it featured cameos of British history, which the British community, who loved nothing better than getting dressed up and acting and writing scenes in plays and things, they did a fantastic job. And so it was, I didn't have to do a thing. And it was a great, really, homecoming and celebration. But in the middle of that function, I've had to rush to a toilet and vomit. And when I got to our bedroom, which had a bathroom attached upstairs, I found it full of, well, not full of, but 5 or 6 Indians were in there. 3 or 4 of them Sikhs, big Sikh men with their turbans and so on. And I said, "What are you doing here? Get out!" And I vomited in the toilet. Then I knew I was pregnant. And it was confirmed by a very nice Chinese doctor who lived close by to us. And the outcome of that was that Rob was born. And I came back to Australia. My parents insisted that I come back to have this first child at the Queen Victoria, no, at the Jessie McPherson Hospital for women in Melbourne. The excitement about having a boy was that Mac had 5 daughters by his first marriage. And so we telegraphed him, and of course he then went around and had drinks with all his friends in Maidan, and he was also entertaining at that time the crew, the captain and officers, I think, of a small Australian warship, a frigate, which was based in Darwin. And so he was entertaining them, and he was having drinks with them and celebrating the birth of his son and so on. And they said, well, something that I didn't know. What happened was, after about 4 weeks, less than that, 3 weeks, Rob and I flew back to Indonesia with a stop in Darwin, that's what the planes did at that time to refuel. And I decided I wasn't going to get off the plane, which a lot of people did get off the plane. But I was sitting in front of a bulkhead with a baby's cot attached to the wall there. And I thought, I'm not going to disturb Rob, I'll just stay here. And all the people got off the plane, and then one of the stewards came to me and said, "Are you not going to get off, Mrs. McKay?" And I said, "No, I wasn't planning to." And he said, "Well, there are some people who want to see you." And so I got off the plane with Rob in my arms, and at the end of the gangplank, there were the officers from the frigate, and they had a piper. They piped me into a private room in the airport that they had reserved, and they had champagne, and they congratulated me, and they treated me so nicely. And then they said, now when the passengers get back on the plane, they go first, and you come last, and we'll pipe you back to the plane. So when I got onto the plane, all the passengers are turning around to look at me. Who is this person?
Either a movie star or royalty.
So it was terribly nice of them. I really enjoyed it. And it's a great story to tell, and it was when I got back. I could tell Mac what they'd done for me.